Maybe you can take us through some of the backup planning if the well were to rupture while you have it shut in. What happens then? I mean, is there some sort of emergency response plan that's in place, or vessels, on hand? What happens at that point?
Well, if we have very low pressure readings, as I said, we're going to do this in increments. If we have sustained low pressure readings for about 6 hours, we're going to know that we can't sustain that in the long run. And while there may be some hydrocarbons working into the formation, there's an acceptable range while we establish whether or not that's the true pressure. But the scientific team has gotten together, and low pressure readings of about 6 hours is probably going to be the threshold before which we would have to make a decision to move forward.
Admiral Harry Weber from the Associated Press. Can you bottom line it for us if possible? What odds do you give to the success of being able to shut in the well using this cap? And if you are successful, when do you think fishing areas along the Gulf that have been closed will be able to reopen? What do you say to those people's lives that have been affected by this, as far as what's next? When can life go on for the people that have been affected? Can you kind of give us some idea?
Well, I can tell you this. I think we are very confident we can take control of this hydrocarbon stream and then slowly close all these valves and stop the emission of hydrocarbons. What we can't tell is the current condition of the wellbore below the seafloor and the implication of the pressure readings. That is, in fact, why we're doing a well integrity test. We need to know that for the purpose of being able to manufacture or control the hydrocarbons, but we also need to know this because the ability to withstand those high pressures at 8,000 or 9,000 will also facilitate the actual killing of the well when we try and pump mud into it from below. So this is all very, very important. So I can't attach a percentage to it because we're trying to learn something that we don't know, and that's the condition of the wellbore. Regarding the fishing areas, this is closely being monitored by NOAA and my colleague Jane Lubchenko and her folks. We have about, I think, 34 or 35% of the Gulf right now is closed. They are aggressively reviewing on a day-to-day basis where the spill trajectories are at, and to the extent they can open new areas, they open them when it is safe and sound to do that. Safety of the seafood food chain is very, very important, and NOAA is working very, very closely with the FDA to make sure that the fish that are caught from the areas that are open are safe for consumption, and they are. This has been a very, very focused effort by both FDA and NOAA. Regarding what comes next, I've said on several occasions, even if we contain the well and even if the well is capped in mid-August, there's still a significant amount of oil out there, and the oil recovery and the impacts of this oil will probably extend well into the fall in terms of oil coming ashore, tar balls, beach cleanup, and then we will be moving, of course, at that point to the natural resources damage assessment, trying to understand the long-term environmental and ecological impact of the event.
There have been some confirmed amounts of tar balls from the BP oil spill washing ashore in Texas. And in Galveston, I'm wondering if you know of any recent test results on the tar that has washed up there in Galveston Island and Bolivar. Also, will the skimmers that you're trying to expand the use of be coming into the waters around the Texas coastline?
Yeah, my understanding is, and we've had tar balls in a couple different places on the Bolivar Peninsula there. Some of them have had some of the characteristics of this spill, and some of them have not. The ones that have had the characteristics of this spill exhibit characteristics of oil that would have been far weathered than it was having gone that far. We're looking at the fact of whether or not vessels that were working in this area may have inadvertently transmitted oil out there and had it come ashore. That said, taking no chances, we have stood up an incident command post in Galveston. We have a joint information center there. Our folks are in touch with the Texas General Land Office, and our incident commander there has been in touch with Governor Perry's office, and we'll continue to move that moving forward. Right now, there is no presence of oil on the surface over there that would require skimming capability right now. The tar balls are sometimes suspended and come ashore, but we are looking to put skimmers where we need them. That's the reason we haven't stopped ordering them. We'll keep ordering them until this event's completely done. I'd rather be pushing supply and critical resources out than waiting for a demand signal that we can't answer.
Hi, thank you. If the pressure is low at the top of the well, does that indicate that oil is flowing out through some other point of the well? And if so, what are the theories on where it's escaping?
What we're going to try and determine from the pressure. One could make the case that there is something, there's some structural integrity issues with the casing and the wellbore itself. I don't think we really know that until we take the pressure readings and try and see where that information takes us. It is unknown what happened to that well bore at the time of the explosion and the events that immediately followed that. And that is largely the biggest unknown, not only in trying to do anything with the well from the top kill, which we tried, which was not successful, or ultimately the bottom kill moving forward. And we're just not going to know until we get the pressure readings. There are some indications when we finally go in and drill into the pipe to do the bottom kill, the ultimate capping of the well, that we will get an indication of whether or not there is oil in the annulus, which is that open area between the casing pipe and the wellbore itself, or the oil is inside. Based on that information, we'll be able to make a determination on whether these, what they call burst plates, which are placed periodically up and down the pipe casing, are still intact or may have burst, and that will give us another idea of how much pressure was exerted and what the structural integrity of the well might be. But it's going to be a combination of what the pressure tells us in doing the well integrity test, and then what we encounter when we actually drill into the well from below.
Yes, hi, Admiral. Kristen Hayes with Reuters. I just want to be clear about two things. You said that 6-hour threshold. Is that where you, when you reach that 6 hours, if pressure is still low, is that when you decide to ramp up the Helix and the Q4000 and begin collecting again? And second of all, on some dates, you said that the floating riser